Hey friends, welcome to another video about English fluency and pronunciation. I'm Daniela, an English teacher and a foreign language enthusiast. I share videos about foreign language learning, culture, life abroad, and all the cool things you might expect when you decide to learn a language and live overseas. In this video, I'll share with you how to pronounce some words in English that might be confusing. They might be confusing because they're loan words. That is, words that are adopted into English from other languages. Now, when we've known a word for a long time because maybe we use the same word in our native language or another language that we speak, we might assume that we know how to pronounce it in English as well. But although the word might be the same, the pronunciation of this word in English is often different. That's why we need to make sure that when we speak English, we also adjust the pronunciation of the loan words. The way a loan word is pronounced in English is a result of a balance between how the word sounds in its original language and how it's adjusted to fit the English way of speaking. This involves changing the sounds, stress, syllable patterns, and more. Okay, let's start with a loan word of French origin, which in French is pronounced croissant. By the way, I don't speak French, so don't be too harsh on me if I don't pronounce it like the French. But I'm doing my best to imitate it. Honestly, guys, I was super confused before when I didn't know how Americans pronounce this word because I buy this crescent-shaped pastry quite often. Every time I went to Starbucks, I felt embarrassed and I had to say this word at least twice before the barista understood what I wanted. So let's break it down. In French, croissant has two syllables. The stress is on the second syllables, sang. The last vowel is nasalized, en, and the final t is not pronounced. Americans pronounce this word as croissant. You start with the voiceless velar stop k, then we have the American R, which is followed by the schwa, the most relaxed vowel in English. The second syllable is pronounced sang, with the vowel a as in father and with a t at the end. Some people might not pronounce the final t, but many Americans do. Keep in mind though that this t is not released because it's at the end of the word. This means that you put the tip of your tongue in the position for the t, which is behind the upper teeth, but you don't release the air. Croissant, croissant. Let me know in the comments if you like croissants and how often you eat them. I personally love a warm, crispy croissant, which you actually don't get at Starbucks. If you want a real croissant, don't go to Starbucks, but that's a different topic. Okay, the next loan word is also food that I love. This word has an Italian origin and is pronounced in Italian as bruschetta. It's an Italian appetizer and I personally find it super delicious. The standard way to pronounce it in American English is bruschetta. It's almost as the original Italian way except for the Italian r, which is replaced with the American r, and the reduction of the final vowel a to a schwa, bruschetta. There is also a non-standard pronunciation, bruschetta, where the letters sch are pronounced as sh, but I personally prefer the standard way that is closer to the original Italian version. So let's break down the pronunciation of bruschetta. The word has 3 syllables and the primary stress is on the second one. The first syllable is Bruce, like the first name of the actor Bruce Lee. Here we use the tense U sound that appears in words like choose and moose. It's followed by the second syllable, ke, we have the primary stress here, and then we have t, which is unstressed and therefore the vowel is reduced to a schwa. Also, keep in mind that because the t comes in between 2 vowels, it can be flapped, meaning that it can sound like a very fast r that many other languages have, or super quick d. Now practice with me. Bruschetta, bruschetta. The next word comes from French, and in French it's pronounced as ballet. This is an example of a French word that ends with a stressed vowel e. When such a word is adopted to English, its corresponding end vowel is often the diphthong a, as in day, ballet. Ballet is a two-syllable word with a primary stress on the second syllable, like in French. It's very important to pronounce the first vowel A correctly. This is the as in cat, where you have to drop your jaw, keep the tip of the tongue behind your lower teeth, push the back of the tongue forward, and spread the corners of the mouth a little. The T at the end of the word is silent. Let's say the whole word. Ballet. Ballet. The next on my list is a pair of French words, both pronounced in French as fiancé. The difference between the two words is only in spelling. Fiancé with a single E at the end refers to a man who is engaged to be married, while fiancé with a double E refers to an engaged woman. Even some Americans don't know this, but I wanted you to know. Also, notice the accent above the first letter E. Even though we don't generally use diacritical marks in English, these two words are typically written this way also in English. The American pronunciation of this word is fiancé. It has 3 syllables and the primary stress is on the last syllable, like in other French words. However, many Americans stress on the second syllable, fiancé. Let's talk about vowels. The vowel in the first syllable is the tense E that comes in words like see and cheap, fee, fee. Then, in the second syllable, we have A as in father. This is another example of a French word that ends with a stressed E when pronounced in French. And as in the case of ballet in English, the final vowel is pronounced as the diphthong A. Fiancé. Come on, say it with me. Fiancé. Fiancé. And the next word on my list is French. What a surprise, huh? There are so many loan words from French in English. This word is pronounced in French as foyer. It has 2 syllables. In English, the first syllable is pronounced as foy, that rhymes with boy. Americans pronounce it in 2 ways. Foyer, this is the closest to the original, with a stress on the second syllable. Here we have another example of mapping the final stressed E in French to the English diphthong A. But actually, the more common pronunciation in the US is foyer, with a stress on the first syllable and with an R-colored schwa at the end. Note that in French, the final R is not pronounced. To be honest with you, instead of saying foyer, I prefer to use its synonyms, entrance or hallway. I just don't like the American pronunciation of this word. If I choose to say it, I prefer to pronounce it without the R, foyer, just to be a little closer to the original. But this is my personal preference. In any case, I just wanted you to know how many Americans pronounce this word, because if you hear foyer, you might not even recognize the word, even if you know it, just because you didn't expect the word to be pronounced this way. There are many more loan words in the English language, and these 5 are only a small fraction. What other words can you think of? Let me know in the comments. Also, a quick reminder to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done it. It will help me grow and share more things with you about English grammar, pronunciation, vocabulary, culture, and life in the US. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!